So we now approach a critical point in the series. Asta, who has been extra discriminated against after, all the devil stuff that came about at the end of the Elf Resurrection arc, aspects that we know that the people of the Clover didn't take too kindly to, like, in the first place, but also it was, there was some fake news on top of it to make Asta look even worse. But now they're going to need him. They're clearly going to need him. He's showing up, doing his main character thing, and he's going to be putting in the work to help fight against this big demon. Devil demon, whatever. But we did get information on them. We found out, like, they used to be, like, two, I think they said brothers or just youths. I think they're just youths of the Clover Kingdom, of the Spade Kingdom. They used to be extremely powerful, and it has to do with, like, the method that people become these big, giant, artificial demons, and how they were sealed away at some point. There's two of them specifically, because I was wondering how many of them they possibly have of these. That was, like, a big question of mine since the reveal of the first demon that the Spade unleashed. And I was wondering, like, maybe they have more of those ones, like the bulkier, kind of, like, big lumbering ones that Marileona was up against. Because, granted, it was easy for Marileona, but that's because it's Marileona. If they had, like, 30 to 50 of them, it would have been different. You just keep unleashing these, big monstrosities. They're just big, heavy hitters that are just going to keep getting back up, kind of, like, style things. But after we found out about how their wings work, it couldn't have been that they had more of these. Like, there could be more in the future, but I couldn't have, like, they couldn't have had as many as I thought they might have had of the smaller ones, just because we know now that once they get their wings, it's just like a gradual amount of time until they start getting to, like, their actual power. So for whatever reason, while the gate was closed, the the demons didn't have it, like, they weren't able to get their big wings that absorb mana from around them. So it was just at a nerf state. But now we're going to be getting it at a much stronger degree. So I would assume if there was a case where you had more of them, you would have to make it so they can't have their wings. Because if there was more than two, like, of the size, and granted, I don't even think the one that's attacking the Clover Kingdom right now is close to Demon Licked. Just based off, like, some of the attacks don't look as strong. They don't look as crazy to deal with. And even the visible difference, actually, no, because the I was going to say that the one that is in the Clover doesn't have a tail like Lick, but Lick's, you can see the tail, actually, this chapter. So never mind on that one. But at the same time, I don't think it's as powerful. I mean, just based off of, who Licked was and the fact the magic stones were involved. But we just don't know to what degree. I really wish we could find out some form of gauging just the difference between them. I do think it would be really weird if this one had, like, the same level of power as Demon Licked, just because, again, Demon Licked already started out very powerful and then became a demon, and then on top of that, the magic stones being involved, it just seemed like an extra case. Like, this one is some form of, like, based off of the variables that go into this one, is going to be, like, a special version of these things, something way more powerful. And granted, these ones are still, like, a mystery. We don't know too much about them. I'm very curious to know if we're going to be getting any form of dialogue comparing them, or maybe, like, we could actually just, because it'd be really weird for, like, any of the people to, like, be able to just gauge it and without them being there. Like, maybe Nero could somehow do it, and it'd be a little harder to take Nero's word for, like, 100%. Granted, she's fumbled on a couple things, but we could get one of the devils, like one of these ancient devils, just to be like, oh, they were able to take care of it, even if it was, like, X amount as strong as the, just refer to the one from 500 years ago, the one with Licked. Just because, again, I think it'd be weird if this one was as powerful, and, like, but if it was, like, say, a fourth as strong or something, or, some fair fraction, I'd say, like, okay, it's still impressive, but it doesn't hurt that idea of, like, the level of severity that Demon Licked was. Just that massive super version of the devils. I don't know. It would just kind of, again, feel a little odd if they were able to match up to what, Licked turning into a demon and the magic stones amplifying it if it was just this one. But I guess we don't know anything about these two demons, these two demons and their past of who they were. But at the same time, even amongst, like, big characters, we know that Licked is, like, a cut above other ones. Like, he's exceptional for people that would be called exceptional. But as like they're going, like this guy's like just trying to attack him. I really liked the fact that the members of the Clover Kingdom put in the work to fight back against it. Because the biggest thing that would have bothered me, not Asta going out and doing, main character stuff. I expected that. I think a lot of people expected that. I'm perfectly fine with that because he is the main character. He's got to get some main character spotlight and do some main character worthy things. As well as he just got finished training his Devil Union stuff, so he has to be stronger now. We're going to have to see how much, like, stronger he's got. I'm still hoping he doesn't just body this demon, where I don't think Asta should come up and no diff it, but maybe Asta has like a technique he has to like maybe take a moment to charge up, and then you could have the other characters help just keep him clear of this guy's attacks just long enough for him to do it. Because that would mean that like Asta has got like the strength, but it's not perfected yet. But at the same time, it would give him a big hype moment because it would show his potential. Because it's kind of like when Asta first gained the ability to go in his black form, it was very powerful, but he needed a moment to charge it. Like when we saw him against Langris, he needed Zora to buy him some time. So it's like, okay, he's able to have this OP form, but it's not something he can just jump to at any point. And then like way later, obviously after he was getting stronger and training, he was able to do it much more easily. Same thing with like, his Black Divider and stuff. Just in general techniques, I always really like that when you have something that is visibly like more of a strain and it's something the main character can do, but it's not something that they can just drop instantly. But then later you see them do it and it's way easier for them. And it's just one of those visual signs of progression that I always really like. Shows it's one of those, again, a very simple and easily shown amount of growth. Like, you don't have to go into, like, a lot of extra steps. You can just kind of compare the two and see, like, yes, he's making, he's making strides and moves forward. I've always really liked that, but, like I said, I really liked the other members of the Clover participating in this. Because what would have bothered me the most is if they just all stood around and waited for, like, bigger people to do stuff. Because granted, like Kaiser, I know people are like joking on Kaiser. I really like that Kaiser took charge of like the first group that went out there, and then put everything he could to just to kind of keep this demon at bay. I really like that. Like Kaiser's one of those characters. He's never really shown as like some like big up and coming superstar of the Clover. Like we know he retired and came back because you have like the younger ones, obviously like way more youth. Like Asta, Noelle and stuff. But then you also have, like, big up-and-comers, like any of the captains who are, like, contenders for, like, future Wizard King kind of tier people. Obviously, Yami, Marileona, Fuego, Nozel, and stuff. But Kaiser's never been placed in that same kind of spotlight. We know he's powerful, but he's very defensive-based. We know how Vortex magic works. And I was really happy to see him just put in the effort. Like I said, even though he was only able to really do like one attack, and then afterwards, like just the blast from it was, KO'd him, and it was like defeating a lot of these other characters. But I really like that it didn't matter to them that they were way over their heads. Like they were up against somebody that was way too much for them. Like if one of the highest order of devils showed up, and even if they rushed in to try and fight it and each just got like no diffed, I'd still like that they put in the effort instead of cowered or just stood around, because at the end of the day they are magic knights for the kingdom, and it shouldn't matter if they're outgunned and outmatched. They should be putting everything on the line at all points to protect the kingdom and do their duty. That's part of their job. And it's not just from the idea of it's their job, they have to. When they do it of their own free will and they want to do everything they can, it shows the mindset and the dedication of the characters, and I can appreciate that a lot. Like if you have like a character like Seki, where Seki is known to be pretty cowardly, and like granted he is more of a comedic character like 99% of the time. He's one of those ones, maybe occasionally we get like a little bit more of a serious part to him, but he's one of those ones I would expect to hide, and it wouldn't be that surprising because we know he's not like he's one of those guys that's just kind of in it for the rank and the job and trying to climb up in terms of earnings and authority. Whereas like all these other guys, they're putting in the work way more for what they signed up for, because it's kind of like I think like My Hero right now, like they're having a lot of issues, like a lot of the heroes. I won't go too much into spoilers, but it'd be like the same thing of like the difference between the people that go into action and then the people that are like, I know I signed up for this, but I don't actually want to get in any danger. Like, well, get out of the way then. Just don't even show up on panel, because that's another thing. It would be such a waste if like any of these guys, like it would be such an easy ticket to hate them if it's like a lot of these people like hid and then like wasted time for the readers of seeing these guys hide, while we could be doing it on could be showing panels of the more important stuff going on and people putting in the work. And I do really like that all these characters stepped out to do whatever it is that they could against this demon. Like even like Kirsch and Nebra, you got Solid, you have like all these like smaller characters who, granted, they have their own talents and strengths, but it's like against this ancient demon, like they stood no chance. It was impressive though that Solid, his Sea Serpent's Bellow, even if it wasn't able to really do anything like majorly to the like one of the mana blasts from the demon, that like being able to deflect it, like even if it's like his maxed out, is still pretty impressive. Like that legitimately is pretty impressive. It'd be like if you had like a serious Yami or some other like really big character, like I don't know how much like Yami would stack up to this guy, but it'd be like at the same time you took a serious big character like that, or Marileona, and not their biggest attack, but they just did like a serious attack and in his direction. Even if he was able just to deflect it, I'd still say that's really impressive, because it's just like you being able to do something to somebody way above you, or at least even one of their attacks, is that's a thumbs up. That's at least a level of improvement. Because he's like, oh, well, 6 months and I was almost to defer to be like, dude, that's impressive. That is impressive. Like that would do damage to a normal person. Like any normal guy, your moves hitting, you're probably gonna do some fair damage. But after that point, like you see Kaiser and all them, they're getting pushed down. Like they can't really handle these attacks. Like it's too much. And I'm guessing Kaiser, on top of that, how much mana he had to exert just to try and push this demon back, probably drained him heavily. And then you actually have Damnatio step out, and I like that too. Like I know Damnatio isn't a Magic Knight, but he's still a member of the of the Clover Kingdom and a royal and whatnot. So him putting in some effort, I do also really like, and it makes me like Damnatio a little bit more, just because he's able to put himself on the line, at least somewhat, to help defend the kingdom. He's not like a hypocrite. It would have really bothered me if after everything that he said and everything, like the way he talks, and then if he didn't show up and at least do something to defend the kingdom. It's like, dude, you talk about justice and like balance and all these things, and the law and stuff for the kingdom, but if you don't actually do anything when the time is like needed, and it's not like he's fodder, like he's got a strange magic, but he's Akira, so he has to have high level just basic mana. Like his basic mana amount has to be very big, so he's somebody that should have like a bit of an obligation on top of that, not just from being a high class member of the kingdom, but also being strong. He should, be obligated to step out and participate. So I do like that he did that. I thought that was good. And with Julius aging his body 10 years, he was able to get out and pretty much just do like a thing. Like once Damnatio lowers the size of one of the mana blasts from the demon, like all you really get from like this Julius is he ages that small, like that shrunk blast, and then goes up to try and like turn one of his arms to dust, and then just instantly goes down. I was expecting maybe he'd do something that at least like hinder it a little bit, like if he just took out one arm that gave Asta the moment to get in here, but it's like, no, Julius instantly like dispersed, went back to the small Julius. And I'm really hoping that after this, because now people see him for, the fact that he is stuck in the state, like, is he going to just admit it, or could he play this off? Because he can easily play this off. Because obviously people would be upset if they found out like he was hiding this from them, but he should just be like, oh man, what did that demon do to me? He turned me into a little kid. I can't believe this. He should legitimately play it as if like this just happened now, and it's a side effect of some devil stuff. I think that would actually be really clever, and it would, I don't really care to get the plot line of, oh, like the Wizard King is actually small. He lied to us. It's like, we don't need that right now. We've got a lot of stuff going on. But at the end, Asta showing up. Here comes Asta to stab, the big ass demon slayer sword inside of the big mana ball that the demon was forming. And at the very end, he's just getting ready to do his devil union with Libe. I'm very excited for that. I can't wait to see the form. Like, this is one of those times where even if I was thinking about avoiding spoilers for another chapter, I just require seeing the picture of what his devil union looks like in the next chapter. That's the only thing I really need to see before, like if there was only one spoiler picture that would come out and then like before the next week's chapter, I want to see what his devil union looks like. I want to see just what the form that Tabata is going to be working him in the direction of is going to be like set as, because as far as we know, this is going to be Asta's like peak form, because we thought it was going to be his devil power, but then, oh no, that's not the right way to do it. He's got the devil union stuff set up, so very hyped over these next couple chapters. We're going to get some sick Asta scenes, just doing the work again. He's got to show up and show up, or show up and show out rather, for the Clover Kingdom, and hopefully he earns some people's trust in showing up to defend them and using devil power to fight, the same thing. So we'll see how things go. I know like Josuke wants it to backfire on him and the people to kind of like have issue with him for doing this, like using a devil's power to to fight back against devils and stuff. But I don't know, I feel like the people would look so stupid if Asta's doing all this for them and then afterwards they still don't like him. Like, this should be, in my opinion, like this specific battle should be what starts to turn people's opinion on him. And even if it's like 50-50, the following after that of the fact that he's going to go fight the Spade Kingdom and be a big key factor in that that war, then that should turn a lot more people in his general direction as well. You would have to do a lot of fake news about Asta in order to push people negatively towards him, especially like Damnatio. Damnatio better not like keep that same mindset about Asta after he shows up to come and save all their asses. But anyway, other than that though, comment below, tell me your thoughts are about this chapter, and tell me your thoughts about what's coming up in Black Clover. I'm really hyped just to see what the Devil Union form looks like. Even if it's not complete, if it's just that one shoulder pad that we saw in his battle with Noct, I'd be okay with that. But I just want to see exactly like the direction Tabata's going to be going with. Anyway, other than that, though, thumbs up the video, befriend the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. Run that. I appreciate everybody's already subscribed, and I thank y'all for listening.